Iran says it has now closed the Strait of Hormuz again. The U.S. firing back, saying Iran does not control that crucial waterway. Fox 5's Francis Wang is here to break down the latest developments for us. Good evening, Francis.
Hey, good evening, Arthur. Yeah, major development just in late this afternoon. Vice President JD Vance is now on his way to Switzerland as the White House works to get these talks with Iran back on track. Those negotiations were actually thrown into question after escalating fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran had previously delayed participation in these talks, but now they're saying top officials will be in attendance at tomorrow's meetings. Those talks had originally been scheduled for yesterday, but have been delayed as the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah threatened to derail the negotiations altogether. This also coming as Iran claims it has closed the Strait of Hormuz, the critical shipping route, of course, for global oil supplies that have already impacted energy markets and gas prices worldwide. U.S. officials, though, dispute that claim, saying commercial shipping continues to move through the waterway. Before departing this afternoon, Vance outlined on Fox and Friends Weekend what the administration hopes to accomplish.
One of the things the president has set us out to do as a high priority is to open the straits. That's now happened. We actually got 16 million barrels of oil out of the Straits of Hormuz yesterday. That is a record going back to even before the conflict started. So you're seeing those ships move. The second thing the president has asked us to do, of course, is to get the enriched stockpile of uranium to ensure that we make it effectively impossible for the Iranians to rebuild their nuclear program.
While officials disagree over whether the strait is actually closed, experts say what happens there could be one of the first measurable signs of whether these talks are producing results.
The immediate thing that could be decided, and one could just see its results immediately, are the Straits of Hormuz actually really going to be open to traffic without any danger to any ships? That's clearly a measurable thing that can be seen and that can be felt.
Mediators from Qatar and Pakistan are also expected to participate in these talks. Negotiators are expected to focus on Iran's nuclear program, regional security, and shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The talks are aimed at advancing a preliminary agreement reached just earlier this week that both sides hope will, of course, lead to a longer-term deal.